Honda, and we're going to take out the Transalp today. I'll have to get out of the way. I'm rushing this a little bit here because I'm blocked, but we won't be rushing this video. We'll be spending all day with the Transalp today. Let's just move the bike over a bit actually, and then we can have a good look around it. Alright, there's Paul from Doble, one of the head honchos. He's the one that spoils me with the ability to use all these fantastic bikes. Right, let's get off and just have a quick look actually while we're here. So yes, this is the 2025 model, so this is brand new. So there are a few updates for 2025. Suspension update, but there's a few people complaining about the suspension and different rider modes as well, that the rider modes weren't too different from each other. So the rider modes have been updated from sport and gravel and all that good stuff, so that's been updated. So new screen, new internal updates to the suspension, and some software updates as well for the fueling. There's a few people complaining that the fueling was a little bit snatchy with the previous model, so that's a few of the updates for 2025. So this bike comes in at, I think it's around about £9,749 new, which in today's market, where a GS with all the toys is, you know, is getting up towards the 30, this is beginning to look like a bit of a bargain. So what are we horsepower wise? We've got 75 newton meters of torque, and we've got about 91 horsepower. And weight wise, well, we're in for the weight for around about 210 215 kilos apparently. Tank range of about 250 miles, so that's always good. But we'll have a proper look around. We have a ride, you know me, I like to have a bit of a ride first before I have a look around. But yes, the weather is absolutely stunning today. That clutch is really light. I really like a light clutch. I like a light bike actually. I do like a light bike. So this is a bog standard Transalp 750, no toys on it whatsoever, no quick shift, which to be honest I would expect the quick shift if it was me. But yeah, first impressions are good. The seats firm. Honda, what are you doing with me with these seats? I was lucky yesterday where I had the Forza, not the Forza, I had the ADV 350 yesterday, which was, the seat was lovely on that. But yeah, a few of the old seats on the Honda are a little bit firm, and yeah, this is probably one of the firmest I've been on so far. So, but it's a nice lightweight bike, which we like. And yeah, talking about value wise, I mean, I think that there's a price increase actually due in April, so if you're after a Honda, buy now, because there is going to be a slight price increase. And I think Honda are coming up with some news. I don't know what the news is, but I think they've got some sort of news to accompany that price increase as well, which I think will be positive. Unfortunately, I don't know what that news is. I'm not a party to the internal workings of Honda, unfortunately, but yeah, keep an eye out for that, and I will mention it when I know or when I hear about what the news is. But yeah, I think it's all secret squirrel stuff at the minute, and there's no way I'm going to get that information from Paul. He's very tight-lipped, so yes, we'll have to wait like everybody else. Yeah, so the switchgear's been updated for 2025, as well as the screen here. Well, this is the thing, like, I've been out on the Africa Twin recently, where it's just laden with buttons, absolutely peppered. Where obviously there's not so much going on with the Transalp versus the Africa Twin, so yeah, more concentrate on just riding, but we all mess about with the modes, as we always do. Yes, and then, well, as I said previously, one of the gripes was the fueling on the bike, but the fueling seems absolutely fine. I haven't ridden the previous version, so I can't really compare the two. But it's super smooth fueling, which is something I tend to mention because it's a bit of a bugbear of mine, snatchy throttle responses. That is something I can't deal with, and something that drives me crazy. It's enough for me to put me off buying a bike. I know people go, oh well, yes, well, you can buy a power command or a type thing and you can sort that out yourself. I don't want to do that. I want the bike to be it good from factory. I shouldn't have to, you know. I mean, obviously there's a sort of hoops the factories have to jump through, right, to you know, to get these bikes through certain emissions tests and stuff. So, you know, and sometimes things I have to pay in the long run, like snatchy fueling, or, you know, not so much low down torque or grunt. But I could bore you all day about that sort of nonsense. You're not here to hear about that. You're here to hear about the Transalp 750, which I've been quite excited to ride, actually. I'm going on a longer run today. I'm going to take the bike down towards Hastings Way. So I'm going to get the father out. He's going to come out. He's going to come out on his old Suzuki Katana. So we'll be backup support in case there's any issues, old bikes and all that sort of stuff. I mean, since he's owned it, it's been a fantastic bike. Well, actually, it was a bike that I was very tempted to buy, and I sent it over to him, and yeah, he procrastinated a little bit less than I did and ended up going for it. So yes, it's an absolute cracker of a bike. So I'm a little bit jealous every time I see that bike, but I'll show you around that as well. And we'll do new v old. I know my channel seems to like new v old. Oh, the brakes are decent. I just love the lightness of it. As I said previously, you know, in the world of bikes that are adventure bikes that are creeping up towards the 300 kilo mark, it's just refreshing to have something that's, you know, 210-ish. It would be interesting to do sort of a Harry Metcalf type weight check on these things. What the manufacturers say. I mean, you know, dry weights. I mean, who's interested in the dry weight? I only ever give wet weights. Yeah, why would anybody be interested in how much a bike weighs without oil in it? You know, I mean, that's craziness. Or fluids in general. It's so easy to ride. I feel at home straight away. I really do. Low down torque's pretty good. Yeah, I would like a quick shifter. That would be something I would definitely spec if it was me speccing one today, because the Honda quick shifts are so good. So we're going to pop back home first, and then I'm going to go out and meet the old man, and then we're going to go down to, yeah, to Hastings, the 1066 CAF. So we'll have a good mix of roads, and we'll really put this bike for its paces, which I've really been excited to test ride this bike, just because of what it represents, you know, value for money. You know, bikes at the moment that are expensive have no right but to be good. You know, something sub £10,000, you know, there's probably a little bit more to critique at that price point, you know. As I say, a BMW GS knocking on the door of £30,000 should be beyond exceptional. But I mean, obviously you can put all panniers and top boxed on this and go for a proper trip. But I'll be seeing that today. Would I use this bike on a long adventure to Europe? As I like to do a bit of an adventure to Europe, so it'd be interesting to see how I feel about this bike, and it'd be something that I would be interested in owning, because I like value for money, as probably everyone on my channel does. So enough waffle for the time being. I'm going to pop back home, and then I will catch you at my father's abode. Right, so here we are. I thought I'd do the walk around a little bit earlier than I normally do with the bikes, because yeah, we're going on a bit of a longer ride today, so I thought I would nip that in the bud now. So yeah, here we are, Transalp 750 2025 model. I've only ridden this bike for about 4 miles so far, and I feel like I've already owned this bike for years. It feels so easy. It feels like a bike I've owned for a long time. It's strange how quickly you get used to it. I've not had that with many other bikes, to be honest. It's so flickable, so easy, so light. Yeah, and that's my first thoughts within the first 4 miles. So I've got a good feeling about this bike. But as I say, if it's doesn't live up to expectations, I will definitely tell you that. We'll be doing a bit of a longer motorway run today as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it copes with that. But yes, as you can see, it's a good looking thing, isn't it? And for sub £10,000, I don't think you can moan really at value for money. yes, it does remind me of the original Transalp with that paint job, that's for sure. So yeah, everything's about it. It's quite simple and quite light. I mean, you can get all sort of added extras of bars and protection and rag protection and all that good stuff, just to make it look a little bit butcher. If you want to throw the Touratech catalogue at it or Honda's part accessory manual at it, then yes, you can do that. That seat is a little bit on the firm side, I will be honest. But yeah, apart from that, it's, oh, that clutch is so light as well. Yeah, it's just all very compact, tight and neat. It surprised me actually. Yeah, so far, man, yeah, I'm rather pleased. Oh yeah, I was a little bit shocked actually straight away how much I liked it, which is good, but I'm gonna go out my way to find negatives now though, because it can't all be positives, can it, unfortunately. So this is the new updated dash for 2025. So yeah, just like the rest of Honda's range really, you can change all of the mode buttons, which as I said previously, it's nice that it's not so crazy with the amount of buttons there, but you know, we can change all the modes and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're not laden with gadgets, but we've got the usual ABS, traction control and all that good stuff, and different rider modes, gravel and all that, but we'll go through that when we ride the bike. Just want to show you some close-ups and just yeah, the fit and finish actually. And I don't want to sound like a Honda fanboy, so yeah, I am going to try and find negatives as well when I ride the bike. So yes, don't think for 1 second this is going to be a love letter to the Transalp, because it won't be. There's always something negative. But yeah, so far, so good. I think that screen might be a little bit on the low side, but we'll see on the motorway. So yes, we'll be going down to Hastings, or 1066 Cath, and we'll see how we get on down there. But yeah, I want to give you a bit of a walk around, guys, and show you my first thoughts of the bike. So let's jump back on it. Let's go meet the old man and yeah, go for a ride down to Hastings. And today he's taking out the Suzuki Katana 1100. It's a later registered bike actually, because it was a JDM import. So it's 94 and 95. It's absolutely immaculate, absolutely stunning. It's had the higher bars put on, so it's a bit more rideable. But yeah, he basically stole this bike from under me because I wanted it, and then he ended up buying it. So yeah, do I regret not buying it? A little bit, but if he ever gets bored, I'd be very tempted. So yes, it's a lovely bike. It's, as I say, it's got the higher bars on it. Let's have a sit on the bike as well, just to show you it's quite high up with the foot pegs here. But yeah, the position isn't too bad. I mean, if you had the normal Katana, the bars are down here, so yes, it's a very low mileage bike as well. That's in kilometres, so it's done 15,700 kilometres, so under 10,000 miles from new. So yes, find another one in this sort of condition. They're going up in value as well, so they're a good thing to have about. But we'll see how it runs today. Obviously we'll be following behind it, so we'll be able to smell it and hear it, so that'll be interesting. So let's jump back on the Transalp and yeah, head all the way down to Hastings. About with the modes on the way down here, and I'll be honest, I prefer Sport out of all the modes, but we'll go through that when we're on the bike. Yeah, Sport is, throttle response is instant. It's straight there. I did mess about with the rain and the gravel as well actually. Obviously it takes off more of the ABS and traction side, and yes, that also then goes like a stabbed rat. So I'm quite impressed actually with the torque, especially in Sport mode. It does pick up its coattails, that's for sure. But we have noticed a few things that are obviously a little bit cheaper than it would be on an Africa Twin or anything like that, like the gear selector and a few other bits, and the handlebars don't feel quite as premium as they do on the Africa Twin. So there are trade-offs for having a cheaper bike like this, but the other plus point is, especially around town where I've just been riding it, is so light. It's so light and so flickable. It's like I keep saying it, it's like I've owned this bike for years. It just feels like an old friend. It's a bit of a cliche, but there you go. Anyway, so Dad's ready on his Katana. That's Rosie, the friendliest cat in town. She's a lovely girl. Alright. Yes, that Katana is a good looking thing, isn't it? I think he's going to get maybe a little bit more attention than I would down at the She's Eating an Elastic Band. Rosie! Ah, bloody hell. Cat's eating an elastic band. Bear with me, everybody. These are sort of emergencies we get. It's my dad's cat. Come on. Right, there you go. That stops that problem, doesn't it? So we saved the cat's life today. She was having a gastric band inserted. You're skinny enough as it is, girl. Right. Oh, I tell you what, I'm a little bit more comfortable than my dad is at the minute. Oh, I can smell the richness. Yes, he does look cooler than I do, but I am comfortable, more comfortable than he is, so there are trade-offs. Dad's also got an old CB900. He's got a Triumph Rocket, which he's actually selling, because he doesn't use, and he's got a Marauder 1800, which he has had for years. So I normally source all of his motorcycles for him. The problem comes when he sources them himself, and he's bought a CB750 recently, which, to be honest, is a bit of a dog, which I had no part in at all. So yes, I think he'll be leaving it to me from going forward. Oh, sport mode is the mode. Let's change the mode anyway while you're here. Right, the mode button. Oh, right. We've got it in rain mode now. Right, we've got it in gravel mode now. Let's try that. So that's got less of the tech on there. I'll tell you what, the low down torque is definitely quite a bit less in gravel. Quite a bit less. So yeah, that's obviously just to keep you with a bit of traction. To be honest, that's not something you'd use on the road. Yeah, gravel does feel very strange and very low down on the torque side. So yes, that's not ideal for road use, I can tell you that. Right, we're in standard mode now. Oh, that's a lot better. I tell you, I do have a little bit of a gripe with the mode button. It's quite slow to activate. It takes a bit of a waking up and then it works, so it's a bit of a faff with that. And then if you press it too much because you're trying to force it along, it then all of a sudden bucks up its ideas and then gives you all your selection at once. Yes, the standard's very smooth. To be honest, I way prefer sport mode. So leave it in sport. Rain mode I rode on the way up here, and yeah, it's just very sort of slow to get on the power. Yeah, it gives you a bit of a reduction in power, reduction in torque. Amber Gambler. Is he having a old bike issue? Mustang. Oh, will he make it to the end without crashing the Mustang? They're known for ploughing into crowds. He's given it the bings, but he hasn't actually got anywhere. Oh, they're out today, aren't they? Oh wow, some extremely poor driving standards going on there. Oh, you know, you have one of those days where you're just surrounded by people who can't drive. You know, you have some of those days where everyone's fantastic, everyone's respectful, everyone's driving to a high standard, and then you come out and you're just surrounded by idiots. I've got a feeling it might be one of those days today. The sun's out, the plums are out. But let's not be negative too soon on in the video. Oh, I'm loving this bike. So how does it compare to the Africa Twin? Wow, that's a good question. It doesn't feel as premium, which isn't supposed to, right? The whole point of this bike is to sort of fit underneath that. It's sort of your entry adventure bike. So yeah, it doesn't feel as premium as the Africa Twin. And I'd say it's a little bit easier around town with this bike as well, quite a bit easier, because just the weight difference, a good 40 odd kilos and weight difference between the two bikes. So yeah, is it 40 kilos? Maybe not quite that much. I'll update now the difference in weight. It's probably a little bit less than that, probably half that maybe, I don't know. But here you go, here's the summary. So yeah, it's just a lot easier around town and yeah, town riding to be on this bike. The handlebar grips feel thinner as well, which I like. So yeah, you can feel like you can sort of grab it by the scruff of the neck. You do really sit inside the bike as well, which is nice. But yeah, that seat's a little bit on the firm side. So this roundabout now, you just feel so flickable. That 90 odd horsepower just whizzes you away comfortably. Look, it's no rocket ship, obviously, but it's more than enough oomph for the roads, that's for sure. I mean, we've been on the Hornet recently with 155 horsepower and all that sort of stuff, and you just can't, it's one of those cliches of not being able to use that sort of power, and you can't, you can't just black the throttle and off you go. With this, you can just give it the beans in any gear, So we're going over a bit of a bangy, crashy type road here as well. Doesn't feel as compliant as the Africa Twin, was a little bit softer. This does feel quite firm. But it has had updates for 2025 in regards to the suspension, as we said previously. People were saying it was a bit wallowy. So they've dialed that in a bit. As I say, I can't compare because I've not ridden the old one, so I can only go by what we got here. So yeah, I've been itching to take the Transalp out just to see how it compares, because as I say, I like value for money. I like bang for my buckage, and I think this bike delivers that in spades. I'm going to mess about and put some heated grippage on. So the mode button there was a lot quicker than to work. And then I press it again, and it takes a couple of seconds. Again, and then it comes up. So it's a little bit on the slow side, the mode button, which is a little bit on the frustrating. Then it was quicker then. So yeah, that's a bit of a gripe with that. See, sport, there you go. It's getting a little bit quicker, but yeah, you saw there the delay it took. Took my finger off it straight away and let it do its thing, and then it finally did its thing. So that's a little bit frustrating. But to be honest, keep it in sports is my well, for dry riding anyway. I think it's the best thing you can do. That Katana does look good, doesn't it? It does look good. That's his new helmet he got for his birthday. Oh, he's living the dream, isn't he? He's just been away for 5 weeks, all around Australia and Singapore and whatever else. So yeah, let's hope he doesn't feel too comfortable on the way down. He deserves a bit of punishment for having so much fun. But the gear change is sublime on this bike. I know I was moaning earlier on a little bit about the gear changes. It's not as premium look, actually, the hardware, as it is on the Africa Twin and all that sort of stuff. Look at that for an excellent bit of driving there. Smart car. Yes, it's got a nice plate. Dreadful car, but nice number plate. Yes, so are we going to be surrounded by... Yeah, what an absolute knobber. I think Dad gave me a little toot there. No, I promise it won't be me moaning all the way down to Hastings Way, but yeah, we're doing some lovely roads today. So I've left the bike now in 6th gear. I'm at 38 miles an hour. Roll on the throttle. It's not splattering and collapsing in itself. So yeah, is it a torque monster? No, but again, it's just giving you just enough of everything. These Honda guys are very smart people. I was tempted to, thank you very much, to bring out a Hayabusa today, just sort of compare against Dad's Katana, because the Katana, years and years ago was the the powerhouse bike then, and obviously the Hayabusa still is. But I wanted to do a bit of a video on the Hayabusa just to see if it's still relevant today. So obviously there's big changes in the motorcycle world, and the Hayabusa is, when it came out, it was an absolute game changer. But nowadays people aren't really, and I very rarely hear people talking about Hayabusa or saying that they own one or anything. But I mean, we're going down to the 1066 CAF today, where there'll be loads of bikes. It'll be interesting to see how many are Hayabusas actually, so we'll keep an eye out for that when we get there. Right, we're just coming through the lovely town of Westerham. What a lovely place to be today, eh? Especially with the old sunnage out. There's a statue to Winston Churchill, because this was his stomping ground. He had a house around here, as you all probably know. We'll be going past that statue shortly, actually. But yes, just riding around beautiful towns like this on something super smooth and not too loud to offend the locals, because yes, people are growing very weary of extremely loud exhaust. I know loud pipes save lives and all that good stuff, but I feel they can be loud, but not constantly. You know, you can blip the throttle and then people can hear you. They don't constantly have to be shaking your teeth out. It's a cool bike. Oh, fish and chips. Is that a new shop, sir? Oh, fish and chips. That's a lovely idea. Let's see how Winston is doing. There he is. But needs to put a bit of sunscreen on his head. Yes, I do like it around here. It's a lovely, lovely area. But as I need to get the train into town and stuff, it's, yeah, there isn't really a very close train station to, well, it's a few miles away, but just adds extra faffery. Right, let's see how the bike is doing a little bit of filtering, shall we? Someone's already just pulled out to go drive on the wrong side of the road to go right. So yeah, we're having one of those days today, so we're gonna stay on our toes like a short person at a urinal. Nice and easy to filter. I just saw a load of bikers go past, and I gave them the old nod to say hello, and not one said hello back. And I've noticed that recently. When I started riding, everyone seemed to say hello. Doesn't seem to happen anymore. If you're over in France, Germany, everyone says hello to you. Everybody. Bikers on the other side of the motorway will go out of their way to give you the hand gesture, and not the hand gesture I'm used to receiving from locals in my area. A 5-knuckle shuffle wave, as I call it. Oh, they love me. Yes, the filtering was nice and easy. Town riding, very easy. We need to get out to more open stretches of the road. We've done a little bit of open stretch road. I would like a bit of a taller screen. That would be nice. So yeah, that'd be something I would probably option, as long with the quick shift, if it was me. But yes, no DCT version in the Transalp 750. I know a few of you die-hard manual riders will be pleased with that. But most of the negativity I get in regards to the DCT are people who, I would say 99%, literally 99%, have never actually used it. So yeah, really get yourself down to doble.co.uk and get out on one of their demo bikes with the DCT. I just want you guys to have a go on it and see what you think. Yeah, and keep your mind open, and yeah, don't just go out for 10 minutes, because it doesn't give you enough time to get used to the bike. You know, go out for an hour or two and really get used to the bike. You won't be reaching for a clutch all the time. I mean, you might do it once or twice, but that's it. You know, it's not a total mind melt that you'll have with it. It's, yeah, very simple to do. And I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be going for the clutch all the time. Oh, this seat is a little bit on the firm side, I'm not going to lie to you, it really is. So yeah, softer seat would be nice as well. I actually like it in this colour because it reminds me of the original Transalp. I have seen the other colours they do as well, which are kind of nice, but I prefer this. Okay, we're coming to a little bit of a faster stretch of road here. Let's give it a bit of beanage. Right, so I'll probably have to edit that a little bit. So if the editing's a little bit crash, it's because I probably went to 71.2 miles an hour. But I can attest to the performance is impressive. Now, what's the wind blast like? That's the really important question. Well, it is quite windy today. The bike feels very stable, but I can feel a little bit of buffeting on my chest. Not so much my head, I think the screen is dealing with that, but yeah, a little bit on my chest, nothing too drastic. But yeah, I was impressed with the performance of the pickup on the motorway. More than enough grunt. Because these roads, even though they're boring, they're important, especially if you like to go and do a trip, because at some point you are going to have to get on the motorway and you're probably going to have to do a bit of a slog during the day. And you want something comfortable. You know, we all like great handling, but we also like comfort. Especially if you're doing a slog of 2 or 3 hours on the motorway trying to get to the next place. Yeah, so the ride on the motorway I'm quite impressed with. Especially for a, you know, a bike with a 21-inch front wheel and all that good stuff, you know. Especially with a sort of an all-terrain tyre as well, so I'm not getting massive amounts of road noise. If I get a little bit lower behind the screen, then yes, you can tell that the wind noise dies down massively, so a taller screen would definitely benefit this bike in a big way. Well, what was I impressed with? You know what I was kind of impressed with was the top end grunt. I thought he was going to run out of puff quite easily, but yeah, if you do go over 70, there's still plenty there, which I was quite shocked about actually. So yeah, I was quite impressed by that. I did have a little bit of wind blast, but as I said before, a taller screen would definitely sort that out. Yeah, so Dad's bike's going along very well. We'll see how achy he is when he gets off. He seems to deal with uncomfortable bikes a little better than I do, to be honest. I tend to just get on them and moan. Then I moan when I get off them and I'm all crumpled up. So yeah, if we need a high-ab to get him off the bike, then yes, he's had a bit of an achy time, but I think he'll be okay. So we've had the grips on as well. We just turned the heated grips off because they get very toasty, which has been nice because it is still a little bit chilly today. And a little bit windy, as you're probably hearing. So apologies if you're hearing that through the mic. I did do on one of my videos the NT1100. For some reason, the camera, where the camera's mounted middle of my helmet, made the handlebars look a little bit bent, or off, yeah, just made them look bent, to be honest. The handlebars were not bent on that bike. It was a brand new 25 plate NT1100. So yeah, I've had a couple of people comment, but yes, no, that was a trick of the camera. It may do it on this, it may not, but yeah, on every other bike I've been on, it didn't do it. And apparently the Westerham Fly had the same issue with an Africa Twin. So yes, it's probably the wide lens that I need to shoot with to get everything in on the road, so that is probably what does it. But yes, I can rest assured the NT1100 handlebars were obviously straight. But yes, thank you for the comments in regards to that. Very eagle-eyed viewers. You guys don't miss a trick. You know I like my golden oldie, so hopefully there's a few old bikes about, as well as some of the later stuff. As I say, I don't go either way. I like all bikes. I like absolutely everything. I can see the positives in everything. I'll tell you what I saw today down at Doble was, because I love the XAD V750, and I was speaking to Paul down there, and I love the Forza 750 as well. I just love those two bikes. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's my age now that I'm beginning to love these mega scoots, but yeah, they got a special edition yellow XADV number 15 to 30 down there. I'll insert a pic. Oh, I absolutely love that bike. Yes, I just need a place in the south of France to store it, and that's the bike I would use everywhere, for a little place abroad. Oh, I can dream. So yeah, as usual, have a look on the Doble website and put in the comments what you want me to test ride. Still a lot of bikes there that need a good going over, and I will happily oblige. So yeah, get on the site and see what you'd like me to test ride. Also, they've got a really great selection of used bikes, so have a look there as well. So I'm open to doing anything, absolutely anything and everything. It doesn't have to be Honda, it can be anything at all. As I say, I was going to take out a Suzuki Hayabusa today, but the Transalp reared its head and I thought, wow, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? I would love to get a die-hard GS Adventure owner on a bike like this, with the panniers, with the screen, spec the sort of way that person would spec their GS Adventure, and And yeah, I'd like them to go out on a good 2 or 3 hour run, and then when they come back, I'd like to know, you know, do they still see value in a bike that's, you know, £30,000? I'd just be interested to see. I mean, they're amazing bikes, Jesses, don't get me wrong, but is it 3 times as good as one of these? You know, I could have one of these with all the panniers, I could have an XADV 750 as well, and I could have something for green laning. You know, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just makes you wonder. Is more necessarily better? I don't know. I suppose it is, in some ways. So, it's just, you know, we want those things. You know, some of these things are status symbols as well, right? Turning up on a GS with, you know, a brand spanker with all the gear on it, all the Touratech parts, all the BMW Motorrad parts. Yeah, it just, is it more of a status thing? Because those bikes don't go off-road. Very seldomly do. I know you get the odd diehard that will take one off-road, but it's very rare if we're honest. So yeah, when you get on something like this, it's just so refreshing, you know. Just what value for money really is. And I'm not going to compare a bike now against a bike that isn't in the same category, which is the Hornet, the new Hornet 1000, which is a similar sort of price for the standard non-SP. The non-SP is £9,000 and the SP is £1,000 more at £10,000, and this obviously comes in at around about 9,700, so a little bit in between the pair of them. And I know it's not a fair comparison, but what would I have between the 3 of them? You know what? Honestly, I'd have the Transalp, just because I do a lot of tour. I like to do a lot of touring, and I like to go away and stuff. And how, you know, I know the Hornet has way more horsepower, and you know, it's more of a brute. But yeah, for me, I would have one of these. Whereas before, if you'd asked me that after riding the Hornet, I'd be like, oh, I'm not too sure. But yeah, after riding this today, this has all the power I need. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You know, I like things with a lot of power, as you've probably found out from other videos, right? I like my cars to have a lot of oomph as well, but the older you get, the more you realise that, yeah, needs and wants are 2 very separate things, you know? So yeah, I'm very impressed with this bike today, I really am. I don't think my derriere is appreciating it though, because this seat is hard. I will do my traditional stand up on the pegs that I do for an adventure bike. I won't do that yet, but I will do that before we end the video. Nice and strong. Just quite surprised really. For a 90 horsepower 750 engine, you think it'd be a bit peaky, but it's not. I think it'd be a bit peaky blinders. I tell you what, this seat, what concrete the Honda use for their seats at the moment. Because it's not getting any softer. I mean, maybe it breaks in a little bit. I mean, this is a brand spanking new bike, so maybe after a few more miles it'll break in a little bit. Oh, I want to go off there, I want to do a little bit of off-roading, but unfortunately it's not my bike, so. Right, let's do our usual stand-up green laning pose. Yeah, it doesn't quite lend itself as well as the Africa Twin does to that. It needs a slight bit of a riser on the bars to be better at that. So adventure riders, yeah, you'd probably want an extra bit of riser on these bars if you wanted to do a bit of green laning and you wanted to stand up and green lane. I think the majority of us will just be using it for how I am today, but as I say, if it was my bike, I would be using it for green lanes. Right, we are here. Oh, jeez, that seat is firm. Absolutely firm as you like. Yeah, so we've got tons of bikes here at the moment. We've got a few. Oh, I'm going to have to walk that off a bit. That is one sore bottom. Oh, we've got another Transalp here. What year is that? 73. So that's the pre-version to the new Transalp 750. 1 Right, anything else of interest around here at the minute? Another rocket. Oh, my dad likes a rocket. Well, he's got one. He's got the pre-version, which he's actually selling. Because he likes it, but he just doesn't seem to use it that much. So yeah, got a CBR there, Harley, another Hornet 750 over there as well. Hello, Dad. You alright? How'd you get on? How was the bike? Was it comfortable? Was it comfortable?
It's not too bad. Once you get going, it's the first one I get on at the garage.
I said that you might need a high-ab to get you off when we get here.
Yeah, I know.
But it was alright though.
It's alright, yeah, no,
Did you lock up a little bit down in Godstone? The rear tyre locks up.
I know. I've done it before. That look, if you brake heavy, it does all a bit of swirling.
Alright, we have to have a look at that, won't we? Alright, we'll just go easy on the back brake for now then. So was it? I don't know. Yeah. We bleed it then and then change the pads.
The way back.
So,
And I had to brake heavy.
that's no good, is it? We have to get that sorted. Right.
But then the other part.
Well, you saw on camera.
Yeah.
You had smoke coming off the back. I thought, what's going on there?
It wasn't that heavy braking, was it?
Well, you didn't need to. You saw the lights. There was no one in front of you. You were slowing down like you normally would.
I thought you were going to get stuck.
Right. Right, okay, right, we're going to grab something to eat then and then watch a few bikers come in, so hold the line. 1066 Cath, they've had a bit of a going over here recently. There's a Morrison's in there now, fish and chip shop, fried chicken, and they do Cath food as well, so yeah, there's a few more bikes here. Dad's just been messing with the idling on his Katana.
Did you want to go for it?
No, you're fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know my way, I've got no sat-nav, so I'll get lost. Got awful with directions at the best of times. It's a little bit chilly still. Apparently there's a big run out of motorcyclists in Hastings today, so might be interesting to see. We don't have time, unfortunately, to do that today, to go all the way down there. I unfortunately have a life outside of motorcycles as well, so yes, I have errands I have to run, but I'm glad I was able to get out today. Anything here of interest? Well, a really nice GS turned up, black on black. I must say, it didn't sound particularly great. Oh, feels good to be back on the bike. Oh, you can lean her. So let's be thrown around a bit, this Transalp, which I really enjoy doing. Really quick to turn in, I'd say quicker than the Africa Twin, but that's obviously a weight thing more than anything. This would be a fantastic daily bike. This really would be. If you ride all weathers and you ride in all sorts of different conditions and use different roads, motorways and B roads and town riding, it just does everything well. And all for less than £10,000. But what would it be like on a trip compared to something like an Africa Twin? Well, there's quite a bit more wind protection from the Africa Twin. It feels obviously more substantial, and on the motorway it's just a bit quieter and a bit more refined when you've got the Twin. But again, it's it's a good £3,500 more expensive, maybe a smidge more than that as well, so it's a hell of a step up in price. But yes, if I was £10,000 maximum budget, would I buy one? Would I buy one? And I had to buy a new bike, would I buy a Transalp 750? I mean, for what I use at the moment, the way I use a bike, I would, but I'm sort of now going, as I say, towards the sort of ex-ADV sort of route as well, so you can do a bit of gravelly soft roading on that. But again, that's a little bit more money as well. So I think value for money, you've got a hard stop at £10,000, then yeah, buy yourself a Transalp. It's more than the sum of its parts. That's what I take away from riding this bike today, is that it definitely is. And in comparison to the Africa Twin, how would I sort of summarise that? Well, it's a bit of addition by subtraction, if that makes sense. By taking stuff away, it adds a bit more, it feels lighter, it turns in quicker, it rides really well, and yeah, so that's how I sort of compare it, because it does, I would say it turns in and handles better than an Africa Twin. So yeah, addition by subtraction, if that makes sense. So yes, that pretty much summarises it, and yet I'd need a softer seat. Honda, please. Put away that concrete mixer. More motorcyclists. They're out, they're out. The motorcycling season has begun officially today. I'm calling it. It certainly has begun. So things I love and things I don't love. Well, let's start with things I don't love. Obviously, the seat. Too firm, too hard. The gear change pedal and a few of the other sort of hardware parts do look quite a bit cheaper than the Africa Twin and stuff, but I mean, that's, in fairness, right, it's supposed to be a lower price point, so that's going to happen. The screen, it needs a taller screen on the bike, for me anyway. I mean, again, that's subjective. You might like the screen being a little bit sort of lower, whereas I prefer a bit of a taller screen. So yeah, so that's probably the negative side that I can think of, really. Now, what's good about the bike? Well, this is a list that could be long and distinguished. Engine super smooth, gearbox is really smooth, up and down the box, especially up the box as well. It's very precise. As I always say, I hate a gearbox like a wet handshake, and this definitely isn't wet handshake. This is Winchester type stuff. I just love the way the bike handles and its lightness. It's been exceptional on fuel. I think Honda reckon this bike will do around about 70 mpg on a run. And to be honest, the fuel gauge has barely moved, and I've done some miles on the bike today as well. So it's exceptional on fuel. It'll just be a cheap bike to live with and own. But you've got that nice TFT screen, and you've got all the bits you need. You've got the other sport modes, the gravel modes, and all that good stuff. So it's giving you everything. It's not overdosing you with everything, but it's giving you what you want and what you need. I think this is exactly where this bike fits in. And that's why I like Hondas, and this sort of summarises Honda pretty well, in that it's, you know, it's giving you a very well put together product at a very good price in the market. To be honest, that's, you know, he's overflowing with adventure bikes now, right? And remember 20 odd years ago, adventure bikes weren't a thing, sports bikes everywhere, but now everyone and their dog has an adventure bike. So yeah, it's a tough market to be in, and you know, especially as you've got to sort of not make the bike just great on road, it also needs to be half decent off-road as well, and everybody wants everything, you know, and there's always trade-offs when you get everything. You know, something's got to give, and that's what's so great about the handling on this bike, considering it can do, you know, a little bit of soft roading. It's fantastic on the road. It's so compliant. It's just got exceptional manners. Keep it in sport mode. I normally do this journey actually when I am going on a long trip, because obviously I've quite, you know, a few bikes I buy and sell as well. So I tend to do this trip when I've got a used bike that I'm taking on a long trip, because I like to give it a bit of a run through first. You know, I've had friends before that buy bikes, you know, a week before the trip, and they haven't actually ridden it. So if you are going to do a trip, then, you know, even if you've owned your bike for a while, get out on it first. You know, because there's nothing more annoying, even with something simple like the mirror comes loose because you haven't used it in ages for whatever reason. You moved it around in the garage and you've, you know, you knocked into the mirror or something, and then that needs tightening up or whatever else. So yeah, before you do your long trips this summer, you know, take your bike out for a good run first. Do 50-60 miles on it. You know, just make sure it is all good. You know, check the oils, make sure the service history is up to date, because yeah, you don't want to have your trip come to an abrupt stop because of something silly, you know. And yeah, so I always like to give my bikes a run out first before I do an extended long trip somewhere. So that's the only advice I'd give for trip riding. And don't overpack as well. This summer when you're going on a trip, I always have a habit of overpacking, taking too much stuff. You know, take a tool set with you, you know, but you don't have to take every bit of tool that you have with you for every nut and every bolt, you know, for stuff that, you know, that you are going to need, you know, like, you know, I always take a tyre repair kit, you know, they're like £8 off of Amazon, you know, and that will get you out of a lot of trouble, because that's the likelihood you're going to have is a puncture or something. That's what's going to stop you in your tracks. So yeah, watch a few videos on that and get yourself one of those kits, because they're so easy to repair the tyre on these tyre repair kits. You basically just push an extra bit of rubber inside the hole of the tyre that's already there, and then it sort of bonds around it with the glue, and it's as good as new. So yeah, that could stop your trip, you know, and check your chain and your sprocket and all your usual stuff that you would normally do. But yeah, you don't want your trip coming to an end for something silly, you know. Or you get off and then your friend tells you, oh mate, your brake light's not working, and then you've got to find somewhere to go and find your, you know, get a bulb for your brake light and all that good stuff, you know. So on the last trip we went on, a friend of mine, Richard, he's got a KTM 790 Adventure, and he put a new Black Widow exhaust on the bike. And yeah, we get to France, and yeah, the exhaust, because it was sort of more upswept, had basically cooked his indicator. All the wiring, everything had cooked it all. Yeah, just because obviously he'd put the new pipe on, but obviously he hadn't ridden the bike before, because you think, oh well, it's only an end pipe, put the end pipe on, job done. But yeah, so then he's worried the whole time that someone's not going to see where he wants to go, so he's doing hand signals and stuff. So yeah, give your bike a bit of loving before you take it out, especially if you've just left it in the garage all winter, possibly on a trickle charge, or maybe you've forgotten and you have to charge the battery, which is a faff. So I like to leave my bikes on a trickle charge, so they are ready and waiting. When we get to 1,000 subs, as I said in the video yesterday, I'm going to do a long extended review on a Goldwing. So yeah, on the latest Goldwing I'll be doing a long extended view, so it's down to you guys to get me to 1,000 subscribers so I can do that video. But yes, my thoughts on the Transalp are excellent bike, absolutely excellent. Everything's so light and so usable. So if you are coming off a heavier bike, like, you know, you have had a GS and all that good stuff, and it has had all the panniers and had all that stuff that you've been going on for years, and you want something a little bit lighter, then you've really got to test ride one of these. Your trips away, guys, so I'm hoping you've all got exciting trips, and yeah, let me know in the comments what sort of trips you've got booked and where you're going and what roads you're going on and what roads are fantastic in France and what's amazing in Germany, because we all know the Black Forest and all that good stuff's supposed to be incredible. I've never done that, but I've done a lot of France riding. I love the Loire Valley and all that good stuff. So yeah, so put in the comments, guys, where you're going away this year and what you're planning on doing it, and more importantly, what bike you're doing it on. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me, guys. Love riding the Transalp today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you for another video next week. Toodle pop. If I was a dinosaur, I would be a Megasaurus right about now.